Hello everyone, this is a second session on braced frames in subject building structure 6 of architecture. In today's session we are going to learn about behavior of braced frames and applications of braced frame where the braced frames are used. So we all know that horizontal loading is a reversible type of a loading. Reversible in the sense it may act in from left to rightwards also and from right to leftwards also. There is no such rule that it has to act in a similar direction, whether it is a wind load or earthquake load. So these are reversible loading. It may act from left to right or from right to left in a single building in a single position at any time. So whenever such load is applied on a building, braces will be subjected to both tension and compression. It depends on how the load is acting and which member is subjected directly to the load and indirectly to the load. So braced bend under a horizontal loading behaves as a vertical cantilever truss. So consider this as a braced bend. I am applying a horizontal load from the left side to the right side. So this side of the building is a upwind side and the other side of the building is a downwind side. So when I apply a load in this direction and the building is firmly or rigidly connected to the ground by a foundation, this entire building acts similarly like a cantilever truss, where this is a fixed support, this is a free end and this is a truss which is a cantilever type. So when such action takes place, at that time the column of the building, that is this vertical line and this vertical line, which are nothing but a columns of a building, act as a chord members of a truss, like top chord and a bottom chord truss. Similarly, these columns also act as the chords of the truss, which undergoes either tension or compression. Then as per the diagonals are concerned, that is these bracings are concerned, these act as a web members of a truss, carrying a horizontal shear with a diagonal in tension or compression, as well as the girders or the beams which are horizontal. These also act as a vertical web members. So whenever a horizontal load is acted upon a braced structure, a columns, the entire building or the braced bend act as a cantilever, vertical cantilever truss, where the columns acts as a top chord or a bottom chord, diagonals acts as a diagonal web members, or braces acts as a diagonal web members, and girders act as a vertical web members. So when this happens, that is when a load is applied, this entire bend deflects like a cantilever, where deflection will be maximum at this end and it will be fixed or zero deflection at this end. So when such case happens, this end of the cantilever or this edge of the cantilever will slightly expand or extend in a length. Hence this end will be under tensile forces, whereas this end, that is a downwind side of the building, will be under a compression, where the member length tries to decrease and this end will be under a compressive forces. So these members which are on the upwind side, where the wind load is acting or horizontal load is acting, will be under tension, whereas the opposite side will be under compression. Because of this, there will be a flexure type of a deflection of the entire building, and this effect is called as a flexural deflection. It's not only that there will be a flexural deflection, but also it may happen that the girders act axially. In some cases also they bend in a they also undergo a bending. The effect of a chords axial deformation under the lateral deflection, frame is tend to cause a flexural configuration of the structure, that is with a concavity on the downwind side and maximum slope at the upwind or at the top. So here at the top of the building, a slope to the original position will be maximum. The effect of a web member deformation. If the deformation which is causing in a web members are dominant than the chord members, say these girders and braces deform more than the chord members, that is the columns, then it tends to cause a shear configuration where these web and chord girder members will be under shear forces as well as compression tension. It might be a compressive shear or a tensile shear force. It might be under any kind of a shearing forces. So because of this, concavity will be on the upwind side, whereas on the downwind side it will be maximum slope at the top with a zero slope at the top and a maximum slope at the base of the structure. So these two are the major cases, or these two are the cases where building with a braced frame behaves differently. And these two cases, the dominant forces type, dominant type of a force will cause a particular type of a deflection. If the forces in the chord members are more, then if the forces in the chord members are dominant, then flexural deflection occurs, and if the forces in the web members are more, then the shear deflection occurs. Another case is where these two forces are somewhat acting together, where chord members as well as the web members will be under some of the other type of forces. Because of this, there will be a combined effect in the deflection, which will be representative of a chord member, flexural deflection as well as a shear deflection. So this is the most common type which will occur in a structure. And the magnitude of whether it is predominant in flexure or predominant in shear depend upon the magnitude of individual forces and the type of a bracing which is provided in the structure. So this is how braced frame behaves when a lateral loading is applied in a building. Now let us study about applications of a braced frame. We all know that concentrically braced frames are efficient, economical, and these can be widely used in a low-rise building structure, whether it is a commercial building or residential building or any other type of a building. But these are not preferable in high seismic zone areas. So very effective way of this is one of the very effective way of providing a very strong, stiff lateral load resisting system for low-rise structures in low seismic zones. But whereas CBF, that is eccentrically braced frames, can be very useful in tall structure building with the heavy masses and situated in very high seismic zones. So this has to be removed. Even though we can use concentrically braced frame also, but it may or may not resist the load in a high seismic zones. So we have to go for eccentrically braced frames. Another application is they can be of very effective in retrofitting requirements. Wherever a retrofitting is required, which is nothing but strengthening or stiffening or enhancing the property of a structure with respect to increased lateral loading, especially seismic loading. So wherever a retrofitting is required, brace frame system is one of the most adaptable type of a method, because it gives a relatively high strength as well as stiffness, as well as it has a energy dissipation characteristics which reduces lateral drift and displacement in seismic prone areas. Traditionally, in olden days, we used to provide a bracing in such a way that it is covered, a single brace is covering a single story height and a single bay width. This is how traditionally braces were provided. But whereas nowadays we provide a bracing in such a way that it covers a multiple story height and multiple bay widths. So such types of bracings are much more effective than these types of bracings. These are aesthetically attractive also, and it can give a different form for a building, especially when it is exoskeleton type. For the best example, you can read out about Burj Al Arab. So this is how applications or this is how bracing systems are used. Thank you for the patient listening.